Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'm going to give you the lecture on reactive dyes. We'll look into the basic concepts why the dyes are called reactive, and if they are reactive, how they do react with the fabric textile materials, what is the chemistry, how they could be synthesized. So this is what I'm going to discuss with you guys. Let me start with a very introductory part. I would write as what are the reactive dyes. As I have told you, dyes are colorant molecules, organic colorants. When the organic colorants are converted into water soluble salts, water soluble forms, they become dyes. A dye becomes reactive when it is attached with certain reactive group. Why it is called reactive? Because it reacts with textile material. It reacts with textile material chemically. The dye is called reactive because the reactive dyes are called reactive dyes because they react with the textile material through a chemical bond. They form a chemical bond with the textile material, generally the fabric, the cotton fabric, cotton fibers, How it forms a covalent bond means the dye molecule should have a connection with certain reactive group, a sort of a functional group, which can react with the surface of the cotton fabric, cellulosic fabric, cellulosic fibers, so that it can make a chemical bond. How it could be? The dye either carries those reactive groups could be of two types. I would write this way. Those reactive groups could be of two types. One is called cyanuric chloride. The other group is called vinyl sulfone. So two groups are there. Two types of groups are available. If you could generate, if you could introduce those groups on a dye molecules, the dye molecule will become a reactive. It will possess the capacity to undergo a chemical reaction with the cotton fabric, with the cellulosic fibers. As a consequence of the chemical reaction, a covalent bond between dye and the fiber will be generated. So as it has reacted with the fiber, with the surface of the fabric, so the dye molecule will be called as a reactive dye. So the cyanuric chloride is supposed to be something, a sort of a benzene molecule where 3 carbons have been replaced with 3 nitrogens, and then the protons on the carbons have been replaced with chloro group. So this is called cyanuric chloride. It is also called trichlorotriazine molecule. As per its chemistry, you can see the vinyl sulfones are supposed to be something like this. They are supposed to be like this molecules, vinyl sulfones. This part is a vinyl, this is a sulfone, or could be any substituent. They are the vinyl sulfones. So anodine molecules which is equipped, which carries a reactant group out of these two, like it carries cyanuric chloride, then the dye molecule will become reactive, will have the ability to react with the cotton fiber. Secondly, the dye molecules carries vinyl sulfone groups on its on the dye molecule contains vinyl sulfones groups, and those groups have the ability to react chemically with fabric, resulting in the formation of a covalent bond between dye and the fabric. So dye has reacted chemically. As a result of the reaction, the dye will fix in a better way because there has had happened a chemical reaction. So the removal of the dye from the fiber, from the fabric, will not be that easy, because it has undergone a sort of a chemical reaction. What a sort of chemical reaction? I am to discuss that further. So I can show you. So we have, let's say, so the dye molecule carries cyanuric chloride, then it will be a reactive dye, okay, or a dye molecule carries sulfonic group, vinyl sulfone group, so it can be a reactive dye A or reactive dye B. So dye molecule, whatever the molecule is, it can be a azo dye or it can be a non-azo dye. Regardless the original structure of the dye is supposed to carry either cyanuric chloride or vinyl sulfone in order to become a reactive dye. How it reacts further or how these dyes are generated, it's another story. Let me give you a glimpse now. You have got an idea about the cyanuric chloride and the vinyl sulfone. Let me move a bit forward now. We have an idea the cellulosic fibers are made up of, the cotton fibers fabric is made up of some sort of, compounds called cellulose. This sort of chemistry is there, groups are involved, 6-membered rings, sort of glucose units repeating with each other. Keep on repeating. Cellulose, I would write cellulosic fabric. So the cotton fabric, cellulosic fabric surface, the one shirt I am wearing, like its surface is supposed to carry the hydroxyls groups present in the cellulose. Those hydroxyl groups are available for sort of reactions with the reactive dyes. As we have just explained to you, the dye is supposed to be reactive when it carries cyanuric chloride. Let's see, when we put in the reactive dye molecule into the water, for dyeing purposes, and then we tipped in the cellulosic material, cellulosic fabric into it. We have an idea this hydroxyl groups around, they carry negative and positive charges, you know. Then this, being a nucleophilic in nature, can attack at the carbon, kicking this chloro out. It kicks this chloro out. One of the nucleophile attacks, comes in and replacing the other nucleophile, you know. It's called a nucleophilic substitution reaction. So one of the existing nucleophile moves out and the new comes in to make a bond. So what happens as a result, as a consequence, this chloro is moved out from here. So the oxygen and the carbon, they become connected with each other through a covalent bond generated as a result of nucleophilic substitution reaction. So this is how a dimolecule which carries a reactive unit got fixed with the surface of the cellulosic fabric, cellulosic fiber, through a nucleophilic substitution reaction. So this dimolecule which has undergone a nucleophilic substitution reaction is supposed to be reactive because it has reacted under the nucleophilic substitution reaction, and the fixing of the molecule through the covalent bond formation is a permanent one. So this molecule, a dimolecule, is supposed to be fixed here permanently. It won't move, it won't be released by simple washing. They have a good light and color fastness properties, you know, due to their permanent fixing on the cellulosic fiber. So this is how the dimolecule is supposed to be, the one which carries a reactive unit which can react with the surface of the fiber. This is the one when you have a dye type of A type of dye, mean your dye carries cyanuric chloride as a reactive group. Now let me explain. If you have a vinyl sulfone based dyes, I'm writing simply dye, I will explain it further. And we have, let's say, this sort of let's say here it's a vinyl sulfone, carbon double bond between the two. When a vinyl sulfone based dye is mixed with water, a solution is prepared for the dyeing purposes. There we in fact add some sort of alkalis. We have an idea that this again dissociates into negatives and positive. As we have idea, the alkenes, they undergo reactions with electrophiles, you know. So one of the proton moves on one of the carbons over here. So here is your proton, and what happens then, this negative charge can attack on this carbon. So we will have a sort of a bond over here. I can draw in a bit different way so one can understand. So here is the double bond between. So this CH2 and this CH, they have undergone a reaction with the hydroxyl group of the cellulose, which is a part of the fabric fiber, you know. So this is how the vinyl sulfone based dyes also form sort of permanent bond, covalent bonds with the cellulose of the fiber on the surface of the cotton material. So that's why they get fixed permanently. They show high color fastness values, you know. So this is how they are. Let me explain how the dyes with reactive groups are prepared. In that very perspective, I would like to discuss again The A type of dyes mean the dyes which carries uh, cyanuric chlorides. I've given you an example. Cyanurics are supposed to be sort of benzene type structure, however, three of the carbons has been replaced by the nitrogen, so it's a cyanuric chloride. How it gets attached with the dye, in fact. For that very purpose, our dye is supposed to carry some sort of polar group like hydroxyl, or the dye is supposed to carry some sort of an amine group. So, the dyes are supposed to be like that. Whatever the molecule of the dye, I'm explaining it again to you guys. Whatever the structure of the dye, acidic dye, basic dye, azo, non-azo, whatever is the remaining structure of the dye. However, it is supposed to carry one polar group, either hydroxyl or an amine part. As I've told you, these nucleophilic centers, nucleophilic substituents can replace this chloro from the cyanuric chloride, giving dye carrying there is a new bond. This chloro has been removed, so they can give us we will have, let's say, two of the chloros are available to react with the cellulosic fiber. However, one of the chloro of the trichlorotriazine has been replaced with the N group of the dye molecule, So there is a, one can write this way, This is how the reactive dyes are prepared. The reactive dyes are supposed to carry some sort of polar groups, NH2 or OH. That polar group actually undergoes a nucleophilic substitution reaction with the cyanuric chloride, kicking out chloro and giving us a dye carrying cyanuric chloride. It still carries two chloro groups which are available for the reaction with the hydroxyl group of the cellulose. As I've just explained to you, when those two chloros undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions, they get permanently fixed with the fabric, giving the product as permanently fixed dye on the fabric. So this is how the cyanuric chloride is supposed to react with dye carrying NH2. Similarly, if we have a dye with some sort of hydroxyl groups, similarly this could undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction, giving us this sort of molecule. So this is supposed to be the product, The product means the dye with cyanuric chloride, and this is supposed to be as cyanuric based reactive dye, which is ready for reaction with the cellulosic fiber by using the rest of the two chloro groups. Those groups could be used as well for reaction with the cellulose fiber during the dyeing process. This is how the reactive dyes do react. So this is how the reactive dyes do react with the cellulosic fiber. So let me get back to the preparation of dye molecule carrying cyanuric chloride. It could be an easy way. I'm giving you one example how one can synthesize, cyanuric based reactive dyes. Very simply, if one starts with benzene and performs nitration, we have an idea we can get nitrobenzenes through simply electrophilic substitution reaction of benzenes. One can make this compound to undergo reduction. So we can have an aniline molecule, Further, one can perform again nitration and then reduction, subsequent reduction. So nitration will give us a nitro, let's say on para position, and then subsequent reduction will give us an amine. So we have synthesized benzene substituted with amines on para position as well. So let's say this could be one of the starting material usable for the preparation of reactive dye. So once we are ready with this, gentlemen, very simple, we can perform diazotization using NaNO2 and HCl. How the diazotization proceeded on amines, what is the reaction mechanism, what is the actual species that comes out by the reaction of these two bodies, which then reacts with NH2 amine to produce diazonium salt, diazoniamines. That is a subject of another lecture. You may visit my YouTube channel and you can follow my lecture on diazoniamines, diazonium salts, a mechanistic insight. Under that topic, you can find what is the reaction mechanism between these two bodies, how they react with amines to give us diazonium salts, and the reaction is called diazotization. Very important for the preparation of azo dyes, So once they react, we will achieve a diazonium salt, something like that, and we will have our amine group on the other side. Only one of the amine has been diazotized. Why? Because we have used at only 1 mole. If we use 2 moles of the NaNO2 HCl, then both of the amines could be diazotized. But at the moment we are using only 1 mole of the NaNO2 and the corresponding amount of volume of the HCl. So we are supposed to get this body only, that is diazotized NH2 and diazonium salt, Then as per our routine, as we have an idea, we can bring in any coupler. Couplers are supposed to be some sort of aromatic compounds carrying benzenes. Why do we need benzene? We need benzene because we have an electrophile over here. Electrophile do react with benzenes under electrophilic substitution reactions. So if we bring in some sort of an aromatic compound like very famous, that's an H acid. It is used in the form of salt. I can write it as salt. If we bring this body in as a coupler, so this body reacts with this one. It's a benzene present in the H acid. Those aromatic benzenes could undergo electrophilic substitution. You could expect 2 sort of substitutions, 2 sort of either on this side or on this side. This depends whether you are doing reaction, this coupling reaction under acidic media or under basic media. But at the moment I'm just trying to convey how the reactive dyes are produced and how they do react actually. So let's say when we couple them, we have an idea. The positive charge comes over here, how it comes over here I've explained in that particular lecture, so you may visit why the comes over here. So then subsequently this positive charge, this electrophile reacts over here, kicking this proton out, and we receive this sort of a dimolecule. Why it's a dimolecule? Because this molecule carries azo group. The presence of azo group in the form of salts make a colorant, water soluble colorant, which is supposed to call as a dye. So this is how it has become a dye molecule. Now if we want to make it a sort of an reactive dye, as I've told you very early, our dye molecule should carry either in this sort of polar group, or the dye should carry some sort of hydroxyl group. So those polar groups can subsequently react with cyanurics to give us a reactive dye. So following these lines, let's say I bring in cyanuric chloride. I bring in, better to write in smaller in size, makes it more understandable. Okay, better to write this way, It's supposed to carry 1, 2, 3 chlorose. The cyanuric chloride contains 3 chlorose. As per our previous discussion, this hydroxyl group of the H acid, it can attack at this chloro and kicking it out in the form of a chloride. One nucleophile will be kicked out, will be substituted by the other one. So subsequently, what is supposed to be here? We are supposed to get this oxygen makes a bond with carbon. The chloro has been kicked out, and the H from this, it can have an HCl in the form. So it will become a reactive dye. The dye molecule from here to here, it's a dye molecule, and we have connected one of the cyanuric chloride, with the hydroxyl group of the H acid, and resultantly we have received a reactive dye. Now let's see if we bring this reactive dye, closer, or we dye the fabric, cotton fabric with this cyanuric dye. With the reactive dye, I'm sorry. So as per our previous discussion, this hydroxyl will again kick this chloro out. So there will be a covalent bond formation through the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So what happens then? We will have a bond between cyanuric chloride and the hydroxyl of the cellulose. So this will be the complete dye, the dye which is a reactive, and this reactive dye has reacted with the cellulosic fabric, producing a permanent bond. So what has happened? A dye molecule carries some sort of a linker there which links the dye with the fabric, So this linker is supposed to be called as cyanuric chloride, which is not a part of the dye molecule. It only acts as a linker. From one side it makes a bond with the dye unit, with the dye molecule. from the other side, mean using other chloro group, it makes a bond with the fabric. So it acts as a sort of a linker. It links the dimolecule with the fabric. Let's say it links from the one side with the fabric, and it links with the from the other side with the dimolecule, and acts as a linker in between the two. So this is how one of the dimolecule can be made as a reactive dye, and that reactive dye could react with the cellulosic fiber. I kept this amino alive in the beginning because I want to use this cyanuric on this side, but as I use the H acid for this formation of the dye, so I got the choice, either this hydroxyl group could be used, NH2 group we use, or this NH2 could be used to react the cyanuric to get this sort of I would like cyanuric chloride, this sort of the compound you can achieve either using this NH2 or this hydroxyl. So this is how reactive dyes are produced, and further those reactive dyes do react with cellulosic fibers, so permanent bond as a result of nucleophilic substitution reactions, and as they get permanently fixed, they don't shade away, they don't get removed with the passage of time. They're supposed to be there with permanently, as there has been developed a covalent bond. The covalent bond are supposed to be the stronger ones, and they will not cleave under normal conditions. They're supposed to be cleaved. They undergo any other sort of reactions when you provide some sort of other harsh conditions, but under normal circumstances, such dimolecules remain permanently fixed on the surface of the cotton fiber. That's why the dyes are called reactive dyes, because they have the capacity to react with the surface of the cotton, So this is one of the type. I've told you in the beginning, reactive dyes are of two types. The dyes in which cyanuric chloride is used as a reactive media, as a reacting linker. The other type of the dyes will be where the dyes do carry reactive unit in the form of vinyl sulfone. How vinyl sulfones are produced, how dyes carrying vinyl sulfone are produced, that will be the topic of my next lecture, inshallah. So you people are advised to go through the lecture, and if you have any problem, if you feel any hesitation, if you have any if any question comes to your mind, so please don't hesitate to ask me. You may approach me through email, or you can post your question in comment area. I would be happy to respond at the earliest possible, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.